Gospel Tangents is supported by users like you. Please support us at gospeltangents.com or on Patreon. Hey everyone, back in May and June, I attended the World Conference for the Community of Christ. I did an extended walking tour of not only the Temple Lot Church, the Cutlerite Church, the Remnant Church, but anyway, it was awesome. So I thought I would take you along with me. We're going to walk through Independence. We're going to see some Harry Truman stuff. It's definitely the extended tour of Independence, and so come along with me. By the way, before you do, I just wanted to mention that John Whitmer Historical Association is coming up in less than 2 weeks. I'm speaking on Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time, and so I'm going to be back here. And if you can't make it, come along the tour with me, and if you can, maybe we can do the tour again. We'll see. So anyway, yeah, I'm speaking at Whitmer on Friday at 3 o'clock Central Time. We're going to be talking about how many children should Joseph Smith have had with his plural wives. So I'll probably be presenting that in the future a little bit, but if you want to see it first, come to Whitmer. So it'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, check out Independence with me. Okay, here we are at stop number 1, the Temple Lot. And as you can see, that's the Temple Lot Church there. Right behind us is, well, you can't really see because this is too big and we're too close. This is the Auditorium here at the Community of Christ. And of course, there's the Independence Temple. Well, there's the Stake Center. You can't really see the Elders Visitor Center, but it's in between the Auditorium and the Stake Center there. But anyway, so the Mormon prophet Joseph Smith and Mormon leaders dedicated this area for construction of a temple August 3rd of August, 1831. A temple complex was envisioned as the center to be called the City of Zion. This was by the Missouri Mormon Frontier Foundation. We're probably going to tour around here, but you can see the Temple Lot, and the stone church. So this is why I called this temple trapezoid. Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here at the Temple Lot. It's part of the Community of Christ. Well, this is different than the Community of Christ World Conference. You can see the auditorium behind me, and right here, spot for the temple dedication by Joseph Smith on August 3rd, 1831. Right here is the Visitor Center, and we are going to go inside. All right, so this is inside the Visitor Center here, the little just kind of reception area. And it's not a really big room, but just thought I would show you around a little bit. Over here on the right, across the hall there, you can see this is where the Quorum of 12 apostles meet. And they got some nice chairs in there. Also, so if you go in there, they've got some photographs of the Temple Lot. You got to turn them around. But this is, I think this is the original church that was built there with all the congregants inside. They need to change those so you don't have to keep flipping the book around. But they've apparently got a newspaper design. The first church was destroyed by fire, as you can see there. Got a picture of James Hedrick, son of Granville Hedrick, and George Frisbee, and I can't remember who the other one was there. Didn't read that fast enough. But they've got other pictures of early important prominent leaders. I'm not sure who these people are here. But so, yeah, this is something you can check out when you're there. And this is just right inside the visitor center here. Here's some more pictures. I don't really know what these are, but this is the Temple Lot. You can see the stone church there across the way there. And apparently it had a few more trees than it does now there on the Temple Lot. So, yeah, these are some old pictures here that you can see once again the old Temple Lot. Those are the stones that were found in, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. It's kind of in a little display case, and so you can see more pictures of the Temple Lot. Some barren trees. That was probably fall or spring, maybe. I'm not sure. As we're leafing through more of these photographs here. We're going to come upon some construction photos here pretty soon. for the temple lot here. So these are early 1900s, I'm guessing. Let's see here. So yeah, just more photographs. You can tell these are really old photos. They've been reproduced, obviously. So that's the original church once again before the fire. Or actually, is this the second church? The second church got destroyed by fire as well, which was really sad. Let's see. So I think this is Otto Fetting, if I have that right. So they're getting ready to do the groundbreaking for the temple that was going to be built, and then, of course, the Great Depression ended that. And so, yeah, you can see they're starting to dig here. And they've got some footings in there. And so, anyway, that temple was never built. But you can see there's the foundation there. That's kind of the famous photograph. And it's just a big hole. So I think we're kind of come up to the second church, which was also destroyed by fire. Here, that's it right there. And so you're going to see this in a second. This is the church that got burned down in 1990, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's a picture in there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, and so that was the voice of my friend Trevor. He's from New Zealand. He didn't want to be on video here a lot, but I thought he probably wouldn't complain about saying that was the church that was unfortunately destroyed by fire. What I understand is the LDS church. Oh, you can see that. To me, that's just a heartbreaking photo. It was a former member who, I think in both cases, that was 1990, of course. This is the cool picture where the people are standing on the cornerstones of where the temple lot should have been. And so that's kind of an aerial photo. You can see the Community of Christ Temple under construction there. And I believe that's Otto Fetting holding one of the stones that was found there at the temple lot. And so anyway, I think that's part of the groundbreaking ceremony there. So Otto Fetting was a former Community of Christ member. Oh, here's another. This is the first church, I believe, with the congregants there. Otto Fetting was one of the first, or he was a former RLDS member that basically walked across the street and joined the Hedricite Church around when Frederick Madison Smith was prophet and wanted to supreme directional control. So this is a watercolor painting of I believe that's the second church, and that's the third church there. That's the current building. Now this is the Book of Commandments. So this was very surprising. I went back actually the day after this video was taken. At the time you could buy the Book of Commandments there on site, but here we are walking into the chapel. Here. But anyway, so here's the chapel. The Book of Commandments, apparently, when they run out of printing those, they're not going to reprint them, and there's a chance that could be decanonized. Sounds like it's probably going to be decanonized. So that's a precursor to the Doctrine and Covenants. But you can see I've been to church here a couple of times, but here's inside the chapel, and you can see this is as you walk in the chapel there, and then looking back from the stand. So you can see that's my friend Trevor and Chad there. Those are the choir seats, obviously. And so, yeah, this is a nice little church here. I believe, if I remember right, that podium may have been saved from the fire, or maybe I'm getting that mixed up. But I think that podium was saved from the fire. That was in the original fire there, so that got saved. One of the few things. So it was a disgruntled member. He in his mind, he said he was going to burn down the church so they could rebuild the temple, which didn't really happen. We're going back down the stairs here. I wanted to see the font, and this is kind of a multi-purpose room where they have dinners and things like that. So the font is at the bottom of the stairs here, just to the right. And so that's where they have their baptisms there. And you can see it's just basically kind of a large tub Got a hose in there to fill it up. And then you could see around the room here, just some tables. So I had a meal there one time, and so that was cool. So here's the stones that were found by Otto Fetting, and some letters that pertain to that. And this is what the church that Otto Fetting had designed, what it was going to look like. So kind of a Greek-looking thing there. And so that's what it would have looked like if the Great Depression hadn't hit and they were able to build it. So these are some other letters that are in that case there, and we're going to be heading outside here in just a moment and walk around and see where those stones were found. So that talks about the marker stones there. And I know you don't have time to read that, but that's what you can see there. The vision of the temple given to Apostle T.J. Jordan. So that's also inside the little visitor center. We're back in the visitor center now. So anyway, let's head outside and see where these stones were and where the temple would have been. Okay, so this is the spot where the stone was found, and you can see how close to the church building that is right there. And of course, across the street, you've got the Auditorium. And across the street on the other side, you have a stone church. And I hope you're not getting too dizzy. You can see, right there. Let me zoom in a little bit, sorry. Can't see what I'm doing. That's the LDS Visitor Center, and I think the Stake Center's next to that. So anyway, that's where we are. Okay, so you can see this is about 40 feet away from the other spot that we just were. This is the northeast corner of the temple where the other stone was found. And just for reference, can you see? Yeah, where those guys are, basically. That's where I just was a second ago. And you can see this is the front. Yeah, there we go. It's hard for me to see there. This is the front of the temple lot building. And of course, right over there is the beautiful Community of Christ temple right there, too. So I'm going to see if I can find, I don't know if we can see it though. Or you guys can walk with me. I don't need to stand in one spot. But hopefully I'm going to find where the other cornerstone is here. I see that it might be out here, but I'm not certain. This might be, nope, there is something here. So this is the southeast corner of the temple, as you can see. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. Somewhere down there. Oh, there it is. Now I can see it right there. Okay, so this was really, I'm now getting a sense for how small this temple was. Sorry, there it is. And so, yeah, it was in fact, I don't think it's much bigger than the current temple lot church that you can see there. And hopefully as we walk this way, we will find the fourth cornerstone of the original temple lot. And I see a spot. We're going to find it. Now the question is, can I? Second stone of the temple. So this is where the second stone of the temple was found. And so this really is a very small footprint. I'm surprised how small this is. And so here hopefully we can get a sense. And you can see that the Community of Christ Temple is big. But this was a really small building, now that I'm looking at this. You can kind of see there behind me where it was. So I know John Hamer, hopefully I can find that slide, has a picture of how kind of a size dimensions is, because Nauvoo's way bigger than this. And then Salt Lake is even way bigger than Nauvoo. And so anyway, this is one of the 24 temples that were supposed to be here. So you can see where that tree is. Basically, that's the other cornerstone. And then, yeah, so anyway, yeah, people, you can kind of see the grass is kind of trodden down there. where people were. But anyway, that's the Cutlerite Church, sometimes known as the Hedrickites. So, Trevor, thank you for giving us a tour. I thought it was super fun. Okay, so here we are at the UN Peace Plaza. And you can kind of see the statue there. Harry Truman started the UN, and when he became after he was done with being president, he spoke in the Auditorium in his homecoming address. So not only is independence like a big deal as far as the restoration, but Harry Truman's a big deal here as well. And so, so this is a little monument to the Peace Plaza. And the auditorium was brand new back in, when it was 50, 40. When did Harry Truman stop being president? The 40s or 50s, whenever that was. So as this plaque says here, the UN Peace Plaza, established by the Greater Kansas City chapter of the UN Association on June 27, 1945, in the nearby Community of Christ Auditorium, President Harry Truman formally announced that the U.S. was a signatory to the UN. And so that's what happened here. I know, Josh Thompson, we talked about that. That was this was where it was formally announced, but it was like done way before that. But this is where it was formally announced that the U.S. had become a member of the UN. Okay, so we're here at stop number 2. It's right, you can see there is it's hard for me to see backwards. The Cutlerite Church there. But this is the Jones Flournoy home. He lived here in 1831 in this little red house. Well, it's more like a shack because it's so small. Let's see. Jones Flournoy lived here in 1831 when he sold the temple lot to the Mormons. The home was relocated to this site in 1989. So it wasn't actually here. I think it was probably over there. But anyway, they moved it over here, and you can see how small it is. It's just like a tiny little building here. And anyway, so this is the person who sold the land to the Mormons in 1831. Okay, so this is the Frederick Madison Smith, and it's right next to the Jones Flournoy home there. And this is the study. It was built in the 1830s by the Stalcup family. And it was initially located 5 miles east of the present location, so this is not where it was. Frederick Madison Smith acquired the property in 1937. He was the grandson of Joseph Smith, and in 1902, Smith became a counselor in the first presidency, and he succeeded his father as president in 1915. So apparently that's when Joseph Smith III died, was 1915. Smith's faith and ministry were dominated by a desire to build Zion, and he struggled to balance his decisive leadership with the democratic consent. Now, interesting thing, especially since we're right across the street from the temple lot. So Frederick Madison Smith became prophet of the community of, the RLDS Church. And then he did his supreme directional control where he wanted to take over everything. A bunch of RLDS members got mad, including Otto Fetting. See my Adam Stokes interview, and we talk about that. So Otto Fetting initially joined the Cutlerite Church, tried to build the temple, and so you can see the stones that he found there. And then he wanted everybody to get rebaptized, and the Church of Christ Cutlerite said, "No way, Jose, we don't do that." And so they kicked him out, excommunicated him, and so then he started the Fettingites. And so that's all because of Frederick Madison Smith and his supreme directional control. A lot of people kind of gave a big shot in the arm to the Hedrickites church, the white church behind me there. And so they literally went across, well, of course, the Community of Christ Temple wasn't there back then. But the Stone Church, which we're going to see next here, was, and so they literally went across the street from the RLDS Church to the Cutlerite Church. And so anyway, that's Frederick Madison Smith's study, although not exactly the location. It was 5 miles east of here. So there you have it, our tour of Independence. And since we're here, this is the Joseph and Janet Luff home. And it's a private residence, not open for tours, but it's right by the Jones Flournoy and Frederick M. Smith thing. All right, so I'm enjoying the shade. Just had lunch at the Luff house. right across the street from the Cutlerite Church. So we're going to go along to, oh, actually, as you can see right here, we have the stone church. This is the oldest, except for the trees are in the way. This is the oldest church in Missouri, built by Joseph Smith III. And we're going to be back here tonight for the Whitmer meetings. Spring meeting is here at the stone church. So I'll probably get some pictures then. And we're going to continue on our tour. All right, so we are here inside the stone church. You can see, we're going to get a closer look, I hope, of those cool stained glass windows. Notice they are all around in here. I was going to come over here, but they're not as bright on this side it must be shade. Oh, there's some of those are brighter. But anyway, this is inside. They've got a nice big pipe organ, as you can see. If you can see here, it kind of reminds me with this wooden pillars here of the Salt Lake Tabernacle. Of course, a lot smaller. But, you know, this is the oldest church in Missouri. I think I've mentioned that before. Down here on the main floor, you can see they've got these other stained glass windows. They're not quite as ornate as they are up on top. But yeah, here, let's kind of show you a little bit more around here in the chapel. And I think I'm going to take you upstairs here really quick. Watch your step so you don't fall. Here, I'm going to try, do I dare walk up backwards? So we're going up to the balcony up here really quick. And you can see more stained glass windows there. And here we're going to get a little closer view of some of the stained glass windows here. And you can kind of see what it looks like from up here, as well as more of the cool stained glass windows. I think these are just really cool. If you can't tell, I like stained glass windows. Hopefully you can see these here a little better. So you can see Jesus and all that stuff up there up high. Wow, that one on the other side is really dark for some reason. I'll show it to you. My hair's sticking up. But anyway, I just think this is a cool building here. They've got air conditioning working. You can kind of look down on the rostrum there. And we just had our spring meeting. But I wanted to show you guys around here. And then we're going to go down. I just had Nancy Ross and David Howlett, who are members of the Community of Christ, discuss women's ordination. Here, so I'm going to go here up on the stand just because I can. And then they're having a little reception center downstairs. I'll take you down there as well. But here, I thought I'd show you. Hopefully I don't get myself in the way. The organ, it's a big, nice organ there. And of course, you can see the pipes there. I think it's interesting that those pipes are sticking out that direction because there's another one above my head. Oh, there we go. There you can see them sticking out. I don't remember seeing pipes stick out that way. But at any rate, so here's your tour inside the stone church. Okay, this is the site of Edward Partridge's home. As you can see, the Community of Christ Temple is somewhere behind me. Oh, it's right there. And this is part of the walking tour. But this is where the site was for Edward Partridge, right here. And so there's your plaque right there. And it's really, I mean, you could say it's on the temple lot because it's where the Community of Christ Temple is. And oh, by the way, let's just mention while we're here, that building there behind me is the headquarters for the Remnant Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Remember a few years ago, I stopped by, I think it was 2 years ago, and I got an interview with Terry Patience as the prophet president of the Remnant Church. So anyway, pretty cool. Thought I would take you guys, finish our walk, which we started yesterday, but I didn't get to finish. And so up here on the left, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk backwards for a minute. You can't really see that very well, but there is the Remnant Church, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'll show you when I get closer. But maybe we'll stop by and see if it's open, and find out when the church service are. So, anyway. Okay, so this is the old Christmas High School. It's now the headquarters for the Remnant Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you can see this is it's across the street from the temple, as you can see here. I think because the visitor center is on the other side. I don't see a lot of cars here, so I have a feeling it's still closed. But this is where their lunch partners is right here, where they feed the homeless. Take out lunch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11:30 to 1. I guess I never come on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 1. But anyway, so we'll head around to the other side just to see, but I have a feeling it's still closed. All right, here we are. We're heading up to the visitor center. I really think it's going to be locked. But maybe I'll get lucky, and you're going to find out with me. And it's locked. So we'll come back another day, I guess. I don't think they have church here. I'm not sure where they have church. But anyway, you can kind of see the former Christmas High School here in Independence. Okay, you can see the plaque down there. This is the original location of the Flournoy home. You can also see back there the temple, and over there is the auditorium. And so this is where the original Flournoy home was. I know the last time I've forgotten to get a picture of this, so I had to steal one from Google, and it was all snowy. But anyway, yeah, this would all be considered, all these houses and apartments, and even that Baptist church probably would be considered the temple lot. And so you can see, the temple's a little bit farther away that way. And anyway, we're on the corner of Kansas and South Pleasant Street here in Independence. I should actually read what the plaque says. I forgot to do that. And let's see, what does it say? Jones Flournoy constructed his brick home here in 1826. Moses and Margaret Wilson owned the home in 1838 when they invited Joseph Smith to dine with them. So this is the original Lot 92. So there you have it. This is the original location of that little red kind of shack, really, home. So pretty cool. So this is odd. We just saw the Flournoy home. Let me back up here, because I'm late anyway. But this is a Masonic hall. And that's where the Flournoy home is, right in that empty parking lot there. Isn't that kind of weird? Okay, so we're going to stop number 5, which is the Rathbun home. Now, I will tell you, it looks like it's on this street, but it's actually around the corner. And so right on the other side of this fence, this wooden fence right here. I know when we came, it was hard to find, and my friend Deb Luce, I had to show her where it was because it's around the corner. It's not on this street, and there's not much to see. You got this wooden fence behind us, and there you can see right there on the ground is the little plaque here. And let me see what it says here. Robert and Hannah Rathbun owned this lot. Their blacksmith shop was broken into 20th of July, 1833, along with other church members. They were forced to leave the county. And this is Rathbun lot 43. And not much to see. It's just kind of a wood fence there. A little thing on the ground. And so this was a blacksmith shop, apparently. So anyway, that's stop number 5. All right, so this is stop number 7, known as this public square. Behind me is the Jackson Courthouse. I think that's what it's called. I'll tell you a minute here. But you can see this plaque right here that I will read. Mormon Sidney Rigdon preached at the courthouse in 1832. Increased tension culminated in the tar and feathering of Bishop Partridge and Charles Allen on 20th of July, 1833. So this was a pretty violent place back then. I'm pretty sure the guy on the horse is Andrew Jackson, but we're going to check that out. I should also mention, maybe I should mention that. You can kind of see behind me there. I don't know why 6 is after 7, but anyway, that is the Gilbert and Whitney store. And we went there yesterday, but I'm going to probably play the clip here, show you what it's like inside. But that's what it looks like on the outside. And we'll go check out that horse that I'm pretty sure is Andrew Jackson, but we'll find out. I was correct. That is General Andrew Jackson, 1767 to 1845, served as President of the United States. The statue is presented to the people of Jackson County by Harry S. Truman, President of the United States, 1949. So that was a little more than 100 years after Jackson was president, or I guess when he died. So anyway, this is the Jackson County Courthouse. Of course, this didn't exist in 1833, but it's where the courthouse is today. We got the Community of Christ Auditorium there, the Trumans. This is kind of the history of independence. This is the Courthouse restaurant, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Courthouse
Okay.
Exchange.
And this looks a little familiar here. All right, so we have here on here, this is another stop along the walking tour of independence. The Gilbert and Whitney store, the plaque says, so this is kind of a recreation. And so we'll go inside in just a minute here. Okay, so here we are inside the Gilbert and Whitney store. So you can see it's a little sell food and crafts and drinks and stuff. So on this side of the wall, we can get the kitchen stuff. You said this is the wall that was before it burned down, the original wall, the only surviving wall. And it burned down when? Do you know? Don't know when. For the Gilbert and Whitney store. It's kind of nice since we have construction that I can stand in the middle of the road and show you the Gilbert and Whitney store. I think you're going to see a horse and carriage behind me here coming up the street. And I think that's a little tour you can take. I can't, because Truman's kind of a big deal here, of course, as well. But I just thought it would be good to get a few extra shots of the Gilbert and Whitney Company. As you saw, we saw the original wall of the building, but this is not an original wall. But, they've restored it, or I don't know if restored is the right word. They basically built it on the same spot. Oh, it was on video. Oh, well, we got that on video. All right, so this is stop number 8, the printing office. And I'll stand away so you can actually see it because it's kind of hard to see it. Which is funny because it is kind of a printing office right now. I think it says Mixed Mutt and Company. Oh, I thought it was a printing office. They're pet friendly. How about that? And I'll cross the street in a second here. But I thought it would be just good to read the plaque here. It says, Church printer W.W. Phelps published the first paper, Independence, the Evening and the Morning Star, June 1832. On July 1833, the printing office was demolished. And that was because W.W. Phelps had printed Free People of Color, and the local Missourians did not like that. Thought he was inviting blacks to the state, and Missouri was definitely pro-slavery state back then. So now you can kind of see that location there behind me is the location of the printing office. So there you go. That's stop number 8. All right, you can see the plaque right there. This is the log courthouse. This is not the original location. We're on Kansas Street. And in fact, if you look behind me, you can see the current courthouse there. But this is the log courthouse as you can see here, it was erected in the southeast corner of Lexington and Lynn Streets, which is not that far away. In fact, we're going to go there next. It was a temporary home of Jackson County government. This building has housed functions of the Jackson County Court as late as 1932 under Judge Harry Truman. Yes, that Harry Truman. So you can see that's the courthouse. It was a few blocks away. We're going to be going there next. But yeah, this was erected in 1827, so it definitely dates to the time that the Mormons were here in Jackson County for sure. So this is the back side of the courthouse. You can see there's a nice little stone wall here. And I think it said it was moved here in 1916, if I remember right. Thought you could peek in the windows and see what the Jackson County Courthouse looked like. So anyway, pretty rudimentary. It looks like there's a fireplace in there. So this is in the back side of the cabin, log house, courthouse, whatever. You can kind of see in there. And I'll back out a little bit here. Hopefully I don't trip. But this is the back side of the courthouse, log courthouse. Dates from the Mormon period as well as served as Judge Harry Truman office. And see if there's anything else we can see here. I got another window. Let's check it out here. A very dirty window. So you can see it's very, very dirty. You can actually see in there better than I can, believe it or not. So, yeah, this is the log courthouse. Maybe I'll back up a little bit. All right, and just to give you a sense of where the courthouse is in relation to the Community of Christ Temple, you can still see the temple there. So we're not that far away, really. All right, this is the original location of the courthouse. It's now just parking lot. So it says the Mormon A.S. Gilbert purchased the former courthouse in February of 1832 for his house and business. The business was relocated to the square, so we were just there. Oh, so this is interesting. So this actually has a few different things. It was the location of the original log house that Sidney Gilbert, A.S. Gilbert, I think that's Sidney, purchased. And then it moved just about a half a block south and then a half a block west. So that's where we just were just a moment ago. Okay, so if you're Mormon or Restoration, you're not going to like this site because this is the site of Governor Boggs' home. It's not a home anymore, as you can see, and we'll move farther away. There's a nice mural over here, which we'll see in a second. But the other thing it says here is that Peter Whitmer Jr. operated a tailoring shop here in 1831. So we'll back up so that you can kind of see the building that's there now. But that was Governor Boggs' home. And at first he was friendly to the Mormons, but of course he was the governor who issued the extermination order. And now you can see that cool mural behind me, the Santa Fe, California, Oregon trails. So anyway, it's kind of cool. I guess I should show you this behind me as well. I'm going to have to walk away. Of course, if you haven't figured out by now, Harry Truman's kind of a big deal here. And apparently he used to walk 2 miles before breakfast every day. And I've heard, they've got the famous headline here. Can't see, I think, is that the one? No, it's over here, isn't it? Where it says Dewey defeats Truman. False headline. So that was the big upset. Oh, and I can see here Clinton's Drugstore right there. So the next spot is really close. It's both a Truman and a Mormon spot. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So this is interesting because, as you can see, there's some construction going on. And that's the location of actually 2 plaques. One of them is about Harry Truman, because I've been here before. And the other one is about the Mormons. But I can't read them because they're covered up for whatever reason. But I would just mention that the courthouse is right across the street there. And you can kind of see the orange back there where they're digging up the roads and everything right here. So I can't really read that to you, but the Clinton Drugstore, I think it's a drugstore, is the sign. Actually, I should pull out I'll pull out my little guide here, as I hopefully don't get hit by the cars walking across the street, and tell you a little bit more about Stop number, I think that was 11, or was that 12? Oh, 11 we already saw. So 12, this was the Noland house. That you can see behind me. It was a popular inn. The Noland house was located on the northeast corner of Main and Maple. That's where we are right now. In 1838, Joseph Smith and the Mormon leaders were held in this hotel under house arrest while awaiting trial. Occasionally free to walk about town, the prisoners visited the temple lot. Harley P. Pratt wrote, "When we saw it last, it was noble forest, but our enemies had since robbed it of every vestige of timber and now lay desolate and clothed with grass and weeds. While independent, we were once or twice invited to the General Wilson and some others, which we did." And I will show you really quickly what it looked like right there. So you can kind of see, maybe you can see what it would have looked like in the 1830s. But now it's the Clinton Drugstore or something like that behind me. All right, we're at stop number 13. This is the jail from 1827, it says here. And so now, well, then it turned into a fire station, and now it's the Truman National Historic Site Visitor Center. I don't think it's open, though. It might be open. We might go inside. But let me read this really quickly. Mormons A.S. Gilbert, William McClellan, John Corll, and Isaac Morley were held here in 1833. Later, Orrin Porter Rockwell was held in a second jail here on this site. So here, let me give it a walk away so you can see a little bit of thing. I've never been here when it was open. You can see it used to be a fire station. You can see where the fire trucks used to come from. But in 1833, that was the site of a jail that William McClellan, John Corll, Sidney Gilbert, and whoever else I forgot stayed in there. But we're going to go check it out. It says it's open. Hopefully it doesn't cost any money, but we'll...
And 9 years before, when Harry, while visiting an aunt across the street, returned a borrowed cake plate to the Wallaces at the home at 219 North Delaware Street. From that meeting sprang a courtship which would find Harry at the Wallace home nearly every weekend.
Hey, so I just found out something really weird. So the plaque is over there where the Truman Museum is, but she said that this is actually the jail, and you can see this sign here that says that Jackson County Marshal's House and Jail Museum, built in 1859. I don't think this is the same jail, though. So at any rate, I think that the jail was there, and now it's the Truman Museum. But there is another jail museum, like right next door. I think this is different. It says a 1859 jail, so that doesn't date to the Mormon period. I think it's that way. But at any rate, so you saw what was going on at the Truman Museum. I'm going to try to hit the last couple of places. And she told me I got a free ticket to the Truman House, which is back heading where I'm going anyway. And so we're going to get a bonus of the Truman home. I got 20 minutes to get there and stop by the other two places on the Mormon Missouri Frontier Trail, whatever it's called. So anyway, let's hustle. Okay, I don't see the plaque, but this reminds me of the place that it should have been. This is where Governor Boggs' house originally stood. Of course, it's just a big kind of a hill field now. But I might have to come back and make sure this is the right place. But I'm pretty sure it is. I lost my map. I don't know how that happened. But trying to get to the Harry Truman house. I might be late. So anyway, I think it's right there. Oh, okay, so this is stop number 15, the California-Oregon Trails Association. Oregon, California, whatever, I got the names backwards. But it's right back there. And I didn't see a plaque. But obviously I saw the museum there. So I guess you should check that out, but I'm in a hurry. You can see the caboose there, bright red, behind me. That's part of the museum, I guess. So this which is really hard to see, is the Truman home. And I might have got here too late. So, gate was locked, but maybe there's another gate there. I don't know. There you go. Now you can actually see what we're talking about. So, nice looking home. And might have got here too late. So there you have it. The Truman home. Nice home. So here's what's weird. All this time, that's the Remnant Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints headquarters. And the white building over here, you can see is literally just around the corner there. And behind that red car, that's the Truman house, like right there and right there. And I've been here a few times, had no idea that the Truman house was so close. But you do have to get tickets at the museum, but looks like it's locked and closed, and I missed it. And just for fun, I thought I would show you that we've got the Cutlerite Church / Temple there. And you can see in the background, right there, the Community of Christ Temple. So it's just like a couple of blocks away from the Community of Christ, just south. All right, so here we are at the Cutlerite Church. You can see here it says, established by reorganized by Alpheus Cutler, 1853. Hopefully you can see that. I can't see what I'm doing very well. But anyway, here we go. This is the Cutlerite Church. And so the main floor here has a chapel, and they're besides the LDS Church and the polygamists, the Brighamites, they're the only other church that practices baptisms for the dead and endowments. Now the problem is there are only 8 members left in the world, I think, roughly. And so one of them, well, they live all around here, but so the upper story of this church here is so you can think of this as kind of a church and a temple. So you've got the church on the first floor, and then the temple is on the second floor. They're very hush-hush about temple work, but they do endowments. I don't think they do them for the dead, and I don't think they do sealings for the dead either. But they do baptisms for the dead. And they have a font inside the church. I'm going to try to press this up against the glass. I've been inside before, but they're very kind of standoffish people. They don't want to be on camera. So anyway, let's see what we... Okay, so you can kind of see through the glass there, the chapel there. In the front of the thing, they've got like a kind of a hot tub where they use for baptisms for the dead or the living. But yeah, they're getting very small, and they've only got about, I know, less than a dozen members. But you can see here, the Church of Jesus Christ is what they're known. So they have the same name as the Bickertonite Church, but they are known as the Cutlerite Church. And so yeah, you can see here, established 1830 Joseph Smith Jr. and reorganized 1853 by Alpheus Cutler. And so here we have the church, and I'll back up here and kind of get a little bit better view over here. And so, yeah, it's a pretty small little church here. And I think they only meet every other week now. They're all, 5 of the 8 members are over the age of 70, I think. So it's a pretty small church. Just thought while I was here, I'd get the back of the building. So as I said, the upper floor is kind of the temple area. The lower floor is the chapel. It is a rather small church. And I thought I would get the other side of the church too, so you can kind of see all the way around. So somewhere at home, I've got a history of the church. And oh, by the way, I was just at the Temple Lot Church, and I picked up their history as well. So anyway, I'll have to check it out. Thanks for listening, and I hope you to continue to enjoy Gospel Tangents. Consider becoming a Patreon or go to gospeltangents.com/shop, and you can get a cool tie, a hat, or even a nice mug. You can also get a sweatshirt. So check it out at gospeltangents.com/shop.